boy. Go. Hey guys, what's going on? This week I've decided to do a follow-up video regarding my VFC MP7. I did a pretty decent review of the gun 6 months ago when I first got it, and I got a decent amount of comments, questions, and concerns regarding the new release, which I wasn't really able to give a good answer for because I had just gotten it. So I thought a good way to wrap up all this and to give you guys the best information possible for this gun was to do a follow-up. I feel like I have a good opportunity to give some better insight into a lot of the questions I've seen, such as how is the durability over time, how is the accuracy, range, consistency over time, things to potentially look out for, and is it a competitive gun in this price range. Of course, this gun is going to be hyped up all over the internet by people selling it. It's being hyped up all day long by the unboxings and the first impressionists. I mean, come on guys, obviously it would be. It's a $400 gun. So let's dive right into this thing and see how well or how not so well this gun has stood up for me over the last 6 months. So I'm just going to get right into this thing and talk about the attachments and how I have this gun customized. Starting at the front at the flash hider, this is the original flash hider. All I did in the gameplay video is wrap it up with some electrical tape, but in the other footage you're seeing, it has been sandblasted and painted black. It's a little off from the actual black of the gun, but it works nonetheless. I wouldn't recommend doing that simply because it does void your warranty, and later in the video I'm going to explain why you probably shouldn't do that. I did get the side rails for this gun. I got the actual VFC side rails, but to save you some money you can get the G36 side rails, the Elite Force ones, which are a bit cheaper and easier to find. The flashlight I'm using is a VFC VX3 flashlight. This is one of my favorite flashlights because it comes with a pressure pad, it's pretty simple to use, batteries are abundant, and you can put a Lexan protector on the end of it really easily, and it's compact enough to actually run on this just fine. The sight I'm using is an Aim Sports reflex sight where you can pick multiple sight pictures. I really like it, and it is red and green options, and you can adjust the brightness level really nice, and that is protected by the Aim Sports lens protector. And overall that makes it a really nice little package. So this is how I've been running it, and it's pretty similar to my other setups, just pretty much compact. So I'm just going to get into the basics of the gun, some of the pros and some of the cons that have been going around. The best pros about this gun is starting off with the trigger response. Trigger response on this thing is actually extremely good for a stock gun, and even in the $400 price range it's probably one of the best. The overall construction of the gun is also extremely well made. I took a shot in one of my videos pretty much point blank. It hit me in the gun first and then hit me, and it did not do any damage to the gun whatsoever, and I just wiped off the little BB mark. So that is good because that is a concern with some of the cheaper plastic bodies, that they would crack or something would happen to them with a direct BB impact really close. The selector switch has pretty much no wobble and clicks into place extremely nice, which is a plus, but also should be within that price range, and no wobble whatsoever. So even in the magazine attachment and the stock, which were the two main points of concern, this gun had absolutely no wobble, and the construction of both of those entities is phenomenal. And the last thing that mattered to me, may not matter to a lot of other people, is the ease of access to the battery and the installation. Putting it together and putting a battery in was super easy, and it fit just fine, and the system they have for doing that is honestly pretty good. So rolling straight through this is just an overview compared to my last review of the gun. The magazines, and this is going to be the things I don't like, the cons. The magazines are pretty pricey. I mean, they are upwards of $35–40, and they are well-built magazine except for the magnetic follower system that they have with the magazines, and this is their proprietary design for the magazine stop function. which I don't really care for. A lot of other people seem to like it, but I really don't care about it. Auto stop function, I can tell if it's empty and so forth, and they pop off really easily. In fact, I lost one within the first day of owning the gun, not even from how they said you would lose it by having the magnetic follower up, just by letting go of the BBs to unload one of the magazines. It just flew out, so that was fantastic. So another con about this gun is the hop-up unit itself, and before I get into the hop-up unit itself, to even get to the hop-up unit, you pretty much have to take apart the entire gun to get to it, which is a big problem because a lot of your consistency issues over time is usually just has to do with your hop-up unit. So being able to get to it really easy is important, but you can't do it in this gun. You have to take it all apart, which is a super big pain. But the hop-up unit itself is proprietary, almost down to the nub that it uses. I'm going to say this only because the stock nub is extremely soft and it'll more than likely rip within a year of you owning it, or under, you know, decent playing stress, not anything super hard on it. But it is a super soft bucking, so the only bucking that we could find that actually fit in this gun was a G&G green. A Promi purple didn't work. We had problems with the Modify bucking, which are two big name buckings that people like to put in their guns. You cannot flat hop this gun either, just because of how the arm is. It's a fixed arm, kind of how on some LMGs it is, and you cannot flat hop it, which a lot of people do that to their guns because it increases the accuracy and range. So the last con about this gun, and I'm sure you guys are already aware of this, is the overall techability and the proprietary parts. Basically, I'm just going to lay it out there for the nature of this video. This entire gun is proprietary, so upgrade parts in the future are going to be, well, as of right now, you're going to be limited to Elite Forces parts. Talking from the HPA side of things, the only people I've seen that have been able to basically 3D print the gearbox shell for an HPA engine, which was an F2, is some people over in Europe, and they're charging $1,100 for it. But I didn't read too much about it, but I think they still had the stock hop-up unit, and due to it being the stock hop-up unit and not being able to flat hop it, just in general, probably gonna have to wait longer for them to engineer another hop-up unit to fit into that one, because I don't really like the hop-up unit and its current design, as I just talked about it. And from a player's perspective, over time, people are gonna want to upgrade their guns. They're gonna want to look at other options and things they can do to their guns internally, and this gun is pretty much just stuck how it is. So the last two questions we're going to answer about this gun is, will it be a competitive gun in the long run? My answer is right now, no. I don't think it'll be a competitive gun in the long run, because people like guns that as things break down, they will be able to fix it easy, and they may have upgrade parts available which inspire them to keep the gun. And as of right now, what I'm seeing, it doesn't look like that's going to be an option for a marginally long period of time. So I don't think it is good enough to dethrone the ARP9 or even the other CQB weapons that are really hot right now, especially it being in the $400 price range. It does shoot really good, and it does have a lot of attributes of a CQB weapon that are really good, but these last few things I talked about are really important in the longevity of it being able to be a really marketable kit that people run. So that brings me into the last question, how it could be a competitive gun. So I think in the long run, this gun will be competitive in the HPA world only when a lot of people have the 3D printed gearbox shells that support different engines like the F2 overseas in Europe right now. I think that'll be the biggest thing for this gun, because as far as AEG is concerned, I don't see it really going anywhere in its current design, and it'll especially take off once aftermarket hop-up units hit the market for this gun. But HPA people should be on the lookout for things about this gun, because it is very solid build, as I was talking about above. It is a really solid build, and it's really, everything about the construction about this gun is great. The selector switch, the everything external. So be on the lookout for that, I would say. But as far as AEG and getting it as a gun, just to get as a CQB gun, I would look at other things, but if you gotta have an MP7 and you play in tight CQB, then this is still a really good option for you. So in conclusion, I know this video might seem to have shined a more negative light on this gun compared to my original, and pretty much all others on YouTube right now, but from one airsoft hero to another, $400 is not a cheap investment, and for that price, the community, including me, has a standard But if you were really determined to buy this gun and you play in one of those tight CQB environments and want something different, I say go ahead. It definitely checks all the boxes it needs to for that, but overall, I think if you want an extremely compact gun that is competitive, priced right, upgradable, and easily HPA-able, then consider looking at G&G's ARP series, Crytek's PTW series, ICS CXPs, VFCs, MP5s. All of these are great places to start if you're looking for something to fill the void that I feel this gun kind of missed on. Anyway, I hope you guys got some new insight or at least some information to look out for regarding this gun. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please consider commenting below. I'll do my best to answer them. And if you're new to the channel, please consider liking and subscribing. I'm trying to get to 200 subos by the end of the year, so be sure to stay tuned. I got lots of fun gameplay I'm working on, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Over there. I didn't stop, except for the time I dropped my mag. That was the only time I stopped.
Of course you dropped. Oh, there's an inchworm. Hello.
Hi, buddy.
He'll give me good luck.
Put him in your hop-up. He'll shoot.
Oh,
no.
Well, shit.
Press F.